Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother and sister, welcome back to Islamic Notes channel. Keith Ellison, first Muslim in U.S. Congress, through politics against Islamophobia. Keith Maurice Ellison became the first Muslim to be elected to the United States Congress. The man born in Michigan on August 4th, 1963, was elected after winning the 5th Minnesota Congress in 2006. In addition, Ellison, who is also a lawyer, is also active in the national advocacy team for Muslims in the U.S. Ellison said that his job in Congress is as a representative of a diverse society, not just for religious matters. As reported by the Los Angeles Times, he admitted that the September 11th incident was quite a concern for him. The reason is, Islam as a minority in the superpower country is often accused of being the cause of the tragedy. The attack actually triggered the emergence of Islamophobia, which has affected political affairs and law enforcement in this country, the U.S., to this day, he said. Ellison said that the 9/11 issue did not have much impact on his political career, because as the first African-American elected as a member of the U.S. Congress, he said that he was quite difficult to identify as a Muslim based on his style of appearance. After being elected as a member of the U.S. Congress in 2006, he was called a quencher of the polemics that occurred in the U.S. due to Islamophobia. However, there were also many who attacked him politically by linking Islam to the 9/11 terrorist attacks. My opponent from the Republican Party tried to make my religion a problem, he said. He emphasized that in that case, anti-Islam groups in the U.S. always linked Islam to various existing terrorism controversies. He believed that this originated from the existence of white supremacist groups that influence fair law enforcement under the pretext of fighting terrorism. For that, he tried to push back the power of Islam in the U.S., even after various accusations were directed at Muslims there. In addition, he also said that the Islamic community was in the spotlight in his political involvement after the 9/11 incident. Many Muslims are afraid to go to the mosque and don't want to get involved in anything. But now there is a Muslim political presence in America. There is a Muslim donor base and a Muslim voter base. There are many places in America that can be used through voting in hopes of reducing the risks and accusations, he added. Ellison's life journey. The man who came from a Catholic family decided to convert to Islam while continuing his education at Wayne State University and graduated in 1987. Islam became his choice to embark on a new spiritual journey. His name and career began when he graduated and received his doctorate in law in 1990. After receiving his doctorate, Ellison worked at the Linquitz and Venom firm as a specialist litigator for citizen rights, employment, and legal protection. He did that job for approximately 3 years, where he then served as executive director at the local non-governmental organization, NGO, and Legal Aid Institute, LBH, and tried to provide legal protection for the poor. Furthermore, in 2002, his political career began to emerge with his election as a member of the Minnesota House of Representatives. This was a brilliant achievement for his political career, especially since his party, the Democrats, was a minority in his area. Since then, the father of 4 children has been re-elected in the Minnesota election in 2004 by getting 84% of the vote. The victory made him serve as a member of the U.S. Congress for the term of July 1st, 2005, February 1st, 2007. After winning the congressional election, he took his oath of office on the Quran, including when the re-election was held in November 2006. He also won the vote again, competing with Alan Fine from the Republican Party and other competitors. Keith Ellison, America's symbol, has embraced Islam. He is widely liked because of his political views which promote peace, worker welfare, environmental preservation, and protection of civil rights. When President Barack Obama gave a speech at Cairo University, Egypt, on June 4, 2009, he often mentioned Keith Ellison. Ellison's figure in the eyes of the United States, U.S. leader, is a symbol of U.S. friendship with Islam. When the first Muslim American was elected to Congress, he swore allegiance to the U.S. Constitution by holding up a copy of the Quran, the same holy book that one of our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, kept in his personal library, Obama said. Despite his name being mentioned in Obama's speech, Ellison himself did not feel flattered. I just thought, well, If what I do can help you open the door to the Muslim world, then I'm happy to do that, Ellison said. Ellison believes that his struggle is to expand opportunities and space for all Americans, and not just to be positioned as someone who understands Muslims and everything related to Islam. If my knowledge of religion and sensitivity to faith-related issues helps create friendships for America and close the gap between us, why shouldn't I use it? He continued. For the Arab world, Ellison is a symbol that America has embraced Islam. While for American Muslims he is a political role model, it is understandable that many people think so, because for his voters, who are mostly urban liberals in Minneapolis, the state capital, Ellison is liked because of his political views that promote peace, worker welfare, environmental preservation, and protection of civil rights. He won 71% of the vote for his second term. In fact, in his constituency, DePille, which is inhabited by 77% white, 13% black, 5% Asian, only 3% Muslim. Trade unionists and those with Arab names are his main supporters. I am an African-American Muslim, so how can I be elected by the majority of white Lutheran Christians in my area? He said. The answer is his daily life practice. I really stepped forward without any planning, I just did it, he added. As an immigrant, Ellison, who moved from Detroit to Minnesota in 1987, understands the life of Minnesota society very well. He considers the diversity of the population's backgrounds to be a strength. The man whose wife is a math teacher then built a network with all levels of society, both those around his residence, in the city center, and in the Northern Ring. Ellison is not a sudden politician in Minnesota. The man born in Detroit, Michigan, August 4th, 1963, had been on the air for 8 years on community radio, helping Minnesotans channel their feelings. Thanks to his services, in the 1990s, Minnesota had a police civilian review board, a board that monitors the relationship between the police and the community. In 2002, Ellison was elected to represent House District 58B in Minnesota. This is a potential business district with diverse demographics and is populated by racist residents. In Minnesota, Ellison also serves on the House Public Safety Committee, the Policy and Finance Committee, and the Elections and Public Law Committee. Before entering politics, Ellison worked as a lawyer. The father of 4 children, Amira, Jeremiah, Elijah, and Isaiah, then used his knowledge to help the poor who were caught in legal problems. He did so under the auspices of the Legal Rights Center. Ellison acts as executive director of the nonprofit organization. Raised in the midst of a Roman Catholic family in Detroit, the son of Leonard and Clyda Ellison, a psychiatrist and social worker, found a new faith. At that time, he was still relatively young, 19 years old. Ellison, who was studying at Wayne State University at the time, then recited the Shahada. There was nothing special that prompted him to convert to Islam. His Islam was Sunni, as is generally practiced by the world's Muslim population. Ellison is known as a devout Muslim who performs the 5 daily prayers. Although not a member of the Washington Mosque Board, when he is in the city, Ellison always prays in congregation with his Muslim congressional staff in one room on Capitol Hill. In his private room in the Longworth House office building, a prayer mat is spread out, while on the wall in another corner of the room, there is a photo of the city of Mecca. In college, Ellison often wrote a column in his campus newspaper, the Minnesota Daily, under the name Keith E. Hakeem. One of his articles, published in 1989, was a stumbling block that influenced Ellison's journey to a seat in Parliament, DPR. The article contained Ellison's opinion on the work of Louis Farrakhan, a figure from the Nation of Islam, NOI. In the face of the issue, Ellison asserted that he was never a member of the Nation of Islam. However, he did not deny his closeness to Farrakhan. He admitted to being involved in the Million Man March in Washington, D.C. In the mid-90s, for 18 months, I did work with Nation of Islam personnel, he said. Ellison said he was not anti-Semitic. He even rejected any form of anti-Jewish treatment. Despite his past, Ellison even received support from the American Jewish World, a local Minneapolis newspaper. Ellison's trials did not end there. His Republican rival at the time, Alan Fine, accused Ellison of accepting campaign funds from the leadership of the Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, an organization Fine has branded as having close ties to terrorist networks. The founder of CAIR, Nihad Awad, is an acquaintance of mine. This organization condemns terrorism, said Ellison, who has also been hit by the issue of tax arrears. Regardless of his ethnic and religious background, Ellison is an impressive person. That is the opinion expressed by Minneapolis Mayor R.T. Ryback. Ellison had the ability to bring people together. He was one of the few people who could bring the different sides of North Minneapolis together, Ryback said. Former U.S. prosecutor B. Todd Jones also sympathized with Ellison. He said Ellison, whom he had known since he was a student at the University of Minnesota Law School, was treated unfairly by the rumors. I can understand Ellison's interest in the Nation of Islam. It's certainly not because of anti-Semitism, Jones was quoted as saying by the Star Tribune. After successfully winning a seat in the House of Representatives, Ellison reaffirmed his commitment. From the beginning, he always emphasized that the program he carried was a shared struggle. Individually, we commit ourselves to building a better world, a better country. We will start from here, from the 5th District, starting from now, he said, as reported by www.carry11.com. Some of his Muslim supporters hope Ellison can help bridge the gap between Muslims and non-Muslims in the U.S. Meanwhile, Philadelphia-based Muslim figure who has consistently supported Ellison during his campaign, Adiba al-Zaman, believes Ellison can do more than just contribute to his religion. To be clear, I support him not because he is a Muslim. I am proud of Ellison's image, vision, and platform, al-Zaman said. Keith Maurice Ellison became a Muslim. This marks a significant personal change in his life. His conversion is a notable development, reflecting his commitment to his new faith.